Between the Atlantic and the Pacific, an immense land breathes with the lungs of history. From ice to desert, from prairies to cities, the nation was born from the meeting of dreams and endurance. United States of America. Here, time raised cities upon ancient indigenous trails, bison paths, and rivers that carve horizons. The country took shape as a mosaic of peoples, Europeans, Africans, Asians, and natives, bringing beliefs, instruments, and hopes. In the 18th century, independence marked the first cry of an ideal: freedom. Yet that word, so vast, demanded centuries of struggle. The westward expansion, the iron rails, the civil wars, and the movements for civil rights shaped a land of contrasts and invention. Every mountain, every field and skyscraper still echoes that journey. The United States became a stage for scientific discovery, cinematic dreams, and cultural revolutions. Still, behind the noise of cities lies an older silence, the silence of landscapes that preceded humankind. It is within this silence that our voyage begins. From canyons to coasts, from the blue haze of the mountains to the lava of the Pacific, we will follow the invisible thread that binds all horizons, the wish to endure and to understand. Grand Canyon, Arizona. There are places where time is measured in centuries. Here, it is measured in abysses. The Grand Canyon is not merely a landscape. It is the Earth's own open record, written in silence. Its vertical walls, carved by the Colorado River over millions of years, reveal layers dating back nearly 2 billion years. Each shade of red, copper, and ochre tells of a lost era, a forgotten climate, an ancient breath of the planet's crust. The sun rises and the canyon ignites in fire. Shadows stretch across the cliffs, forming seas of light and shadow. At the bottom, the river winds like a living thread, the same that sculpted, with patience and strength, the chasms and arches that defy human reason. Here, the sound of the wind is not noise, it is memory. It travels along the ridges as if translating the language of the stones. The ancient peoples, such as the Anasazi and the Havasupai, called this land the place that breathes. To them, the canyon was the navel of the world, the portal where the spirit of the mountain spoke to the sky. Centuries later, explorers and geologists would read the same space in another language, that of science. They understood that this vastness was not born of catastrophe, but of persistence. Walking along its edges is to feel the weight of compressed time. The walls seem to pulse, and the silence, immense and alive, becomes almost tangible. Here, the planet displays its patience and its brutal beauty, a living sculpture shaped by water, wind, and light. And when dusk turns the desert to gold, the Grand Canyon transforms once again. Color fades, but form endures, like an ancient thought refusing to die. Time sleeps upon the stones, waiting for the next sunbeam to reveal once more the Earth's own voice. Yellowstone National Park. Beneath Yellowstone's golden meadows and endless pines, the heart of the earth still beats. At every moment, steam and sulfur escape from hidden fissures, the warm breath of a planet that never sleeps. Here, the ground lives. It exhales the mineral scent of a world in formation and whispers memories of the planet's fiery birth. Geysers burst from nowhere, sending towers of water skyward, marking the rhythm of a crust in constant motion. Old Faithful, true to its name, rises with almost human punctuality, reminding us that geological time follows its own rules. Around it, hot springs of impossible hues, cobalt blue, orange, emerald, open like portals to another world. These colors are born from microorganisms that thrive in temperatures defying life itself. Each spring is a natural laboratory, a mirror of biological endurance. Yellowstone is more than a park. It is the first of its kind, established in 1872, when America was still learning to balance conquest and preservation. Here, the modern concept of conservation was born, protecting nature not for use, but for reverence. That act became a symbol of a new awareness, one that sees wilderness as heritage. In the valleys, bison and elk roam under the same sky that once sheltered mammoths and gray wolves. The distant howl of animals echoes through the forests and peaks, reminding us that the line between past and present is fragile. Steam rises like prayer, each breath of vapor a memory of Earth's burning core. Beneath the surface, a vast dormant volcano breathes slowly. Its invisible presence shapes the fate of an entire continent. Scientists watch, measure, and wait. What to humanity feels like danger is, to nature, mere continuity. Yellowstone stands as a living portrait of the planet in its purest form, unpredictable, powerful, and beautiful. And as the day ends and the sun touches the geyser plains, vapor merges with wind, and everything seems suspended, as if the world inhaled before telling its next story. For ahead, Where the desert speaks in stone, time will carve again in silence. Monument Valley. Between silence and wind, the desert rises in the shape of a prayer. Monument Valley is the stone altar of the American continent, an open temple where time kneels before eternity. The sandstone towers, tall as cathedrals, were sculpted by erosion more than 50 million years ago. Each pillar, each mesa, is a reminder that the earth also dreams. The sun rises unhurried, and light travels across the columns as if igniting an ancient fire. Colors shift every minute: red, copper, purple, as though the desert itself were breathing. The warm sand carries the mineral scent of stone, and the distant sound of the wind feels like an old song. To the Navajo people, Sebi Nziskai, the Valley of Rocks is sacred ground. They believe the spirits of their ancestors dwell within the mountains and that every shadow keeps a story. Formations known as Mitten Buttes, Merrick Butte, and Totem Pole are not mere scenery. They are presences, guardians of a spiritual world older than any border. For centuries, this valley served as passage, refuge, and mirror of the native soul. When cinema arrived, Monument Valley became the stage through which the entire world would recognize the American West. Yet, for those who stand in silence, it remains more than a myth. It is geography of memory, a meeting between geology and spirit. The sunset paints the horizon in gold, and the shadows stretch like fingers across the desert. Each stone seems to breathe, each line seems to speak. And as night falls, the valley does not vanish. It merely changes its voice. Silence returns, and the stars descend as if to listen to the earth. From the unchanging heart of the desert, we move toward the place where stone gives way to glass and vertigo, toward a city that dreams of touching the sky. New York City. From the silence of the desert to the roar of civilization rises New York, the most human of all landscapes. Between the Atlantic and the sky, the city grows like a living organism, built of steel, glass, and breath. Its avenues form a labyrinth of constant energy. Every street is a pulse, every window a story. The metropolis does not merely exist. It vibrates, dreams, and reinvents itself with each dawn. Founded by the Dutch in the 17th century as New Amsterdam, it grew under the sign of diversity. Here, immigrants from every corner of the world arrived, carrying languages, hopes, and futures. Ellis Island was its symbolic gate, the portal of promise where millions came to begin anew. The Statue of Liberty, raised in 1886, still stands as a beacon of that dream. Not only American, but human. Manhattan's skyscrapers reflect the ambition of an era. Steel and concrete transformed the horizon into a vertical symphony. The Empire State, the Chrysler Building, and the One World Trade Center are not only feats of engineering, but monuments to an ancient desire to touch infinity. Between them, Central Park breathes, a green lung reminding us of the balance between creation and nature. New York is also the capital of word and sound. Poets, painters, musicians, and filmmakers have shaped its identity as if every corner were a stage. From Broadway to Harlem, from the Village to Brooklyn, echoes centuries of expression and resilience. It is a city that never sleeps, yet forever dreams. As dusk descends, lights awaken, and the sky becomes a mirror of glass. Thousands of windows shine like human constellations. And for a moment, amid the crowd, there is silence. The same silence that crosses mountains and oceans, binding all horizons. For beyond, where civilization dissolves into granite and mist, the refuge of Yosemite's mountains awaits, a return to the beginning. Yosemite National Park, California. After the city's noise, the earth speaks again in whispers. Yosemite rises as a vertical sanctuary where rock and water rebuild silence. Amid the valleys of the Sierra Nevada, granite walls ascend with the calm of gods. El Capitan, Half Dome, and the Yosemite Falls stand as living monuments of geological patience. Water falls in translucent veils, breaking sunlight into fleeting rainbows. The echo between cliffs sounds like deep breathing, reminding us that strength does not shout, it endures. The scent of giant sequoias fills the air. These trees, more than 3,000 years old, are silent witnesses to humanity's passing. Here, Scottish-American naturalist John Muir wrote of the Cathedral of Nature. His words inspired the creation of the National Park System, forever changing America's relationship with its own land. Yosemite became not merely a reserve, but an ideal, the belief that preservation is a form of gratitude. Walking through its meadows, one feels the ground breathe beneath the feet. The wind moves through the valleys like an unseen choir. In every stone lies a lesson in balance, in every shadow, an invitation to contemplation. Afternoon light paints the mountains in gold and copper, and the Merced River glides softly, carrying memories toward the ocean. The day ends in mineral silence. Stars emerge above the granite domes, and night seems to rest within the mountains. Then, as the echoes of waterfalls fade, another rhythm begins to rise. From the south, born of soul and sound, New Orleans calls. New Orleans, Louisiana. Where the Mississippi bends its immense body toward the Gulf of Mexico, it touches a city that lives between sound and soul. New Orleans was not built of stone alone. It was shaped by rhythm, faith, and survival. Founded by the French, marked by the Spanish and the Africans, it is a mosaic of worlds where every street has an accent, and every window seems to exhale music. Here, time does not walk, it dances. Southern heat mingles with the scent of magnolia and spice as the sound of trumpets drifts through the alleys of the French Quarter. Jazz was born on these corners, born of pain and hope, of memory and the cry for freedom. Louis Armstrong, child of this land, turned sorrow into melody and made improvisation a prayer. The city lives between two worlds, the sacred and the profane. Processions and funerals, called second lines, are celebrations of passage. Dances where grief dresses itself in joy. The drumbeat merges with the chant of the churches, and the body moves as if to release the soul. The Mississippi River watches all. Its waters carry stories of trade, slavery, and redemption. Along its banks, the steam of old boats still seems to bear the echoes of centuries. At night, humid air drifts between the iron balconies, and the city vibrates with voices that refuse to fade. New Orleans is the heartbeat of the South, where sound heals, faith endures, and history breathes in syncopation. And when dawn touches the river, the mist rises gently, preparing the way toward distant mountains where silence will speak again. Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Among the Appalachians, time breathes in mist. The Great Smoky Mountains are the blue veil of the American East, mountains that exhale memory and hold the echo of the seasons. At dawn, fog rises from the valleys like a silent ocean. Each curve reveals a living forest, oaks, beeches, and firs stretching like waves of endless green. Called smoky by early settlers for their perpetual haze, these mountains are, in truth, breathing. The vapor from trees and warm soil creates a fog that changes shape every moment, like time itself. The Cherokee people named this land Shakonej, the place of blue smoke. To them, it was sacred ground, where the spirit of the mountains spoke through the wind. Today, it is the most visited national park in the United States, a refuge where nature and history intertwine. Trails lead through old cabins, mills, and graveyards hidden in the woods. Here, America reveals its oldest face, not of conquest, but of endurance. The rush of water and the whisper of leaves form a primal music. It feels as though the whole world breathes in slow rhythm. Among the trees, the air smells of moss and rain. Light filters softly, dissolving the borders between the real and the dream. The mountains do not speak. They listen. They hold the murmurs of generations who lived and departed and turn them into tranquil silence. And when twilight covers the valley, the mist becomes a mirror reflecting both sky and memory. From these hills of haze and eternity, we move northward, where the wind carries another tone, across glass, steel, and reflection. Chicago awaits. Chicago. On the shores of Lake Michigan, rises a city that learned to be reborn from fire. Chicago is America's mirror of steel and wind, a metropolis that turned tragedy into architecture and noise into harmony. The Great Fire of 1871 consumed its center, yet it also freed its imagination. From the ashes emerged a new urban language built of metal columns and vertical dreams. Here, the world's first skyscrapers rose, challenging the boundary between earth and sky. Steel, once the symbol of industry, became the material of aspiration. Architects like Louis Sullivan and Frank Lloyd Wright shaped buildings that seemed to breathe, structures that sheltered not only people, but ideas. The wind, ever-present companion, moves through the streets as a living force. It sweeps from the lake, spreading morning mist across bridges and mirroring towers upon still waters. Chicago exists within this tension: weight and lightness, labor and art, concrete and sky. The river cuts through the city like a line of history. Along its banks grew neighborhoods of iron and jazz, of factories and theaters. Each corner holds a fragment of the American soul, forged from work, reinvention, and rhythm. On summer nights, the sound of saxophones mingles with the murmur of wind, and lights ripple upon the liquid mirror of the lake. Seen from afar, Chicago seems to float. Its lifting bridges, glass towers, and glowing shorelines make it a landscape in motion. It breathes like a living being. At times dense, at times transparent, but always alive. And when the wind shifts and the horizon turns to dust, we travel westward, where water yields to absence and beauty rises from dryness. Death Valley awaits. Death Valley Desert. There are places where silence has weight. Death Valley is one of them, a vast mineral expanse where time seems to evaporate. Among salt flats, dunes, and sun-scorched mountains, the planet reveals itself in its purest form: light, heat, and stone. By day, temperatures soar beyond 120 degrees. The air quivers, and the horizon bends as if the world itself were breathing. At Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America, the ground forms a white crust of salt, a relic of ancient lakes devoured by desert. Farther north, the Mesquite Flat Dunes move like silent tides. Each grain of sand carries centuries of erosion, fragments of mountains reduced to essence. Life here is endurance. Lizards, ravens, and fleeting flowers adapt to the impossible, turning barrenness into persistence. When it rains, rarely, the desert blooms, a miracle of color that lasts only days. That brief rebirth reminds us that even in extremes there is rhythm, and that silence too can sing. At Zabriskie Point, golden hills and rippling valleys look inward, the planet gazing at itself. Each curve is a geological verse, sculpted by wind and light. As the sun descends, the earth glows with shades of copper and violet, and heat gives way to a crystalline cold. Death Valley is not emptiness. It is essence, a mirror where Earth contemplates its own solitude and finds beauty in nothingness. And when night falls, the sky unfolds in perfect constellations. The same fire that burns beneath the crust awakens across the ocean, where the islands of Hawaii rise from magma and mist.
Hawaii.
In the heart of the Pacific, the planet still dreams aloud. Hawaii is where the Earth speaks in fire and the ocean answers in foam. Each island was born from the planet's incandescent core, an offering that rose from the abyss to touch the sky. At Kilauea, molten rock flows like luminous blood, meeting the sea in bursts of vapor and light. It is the moment when creation and destruction become one. The sound of the waves blends with the roar of lava, forming a primal symphony. Here, the planet remembers what it means to be alive. On the slopes of Mauna Loa, the wind moves with the calm of ancient gods. Hawaiians call it Aloha Aina, love for the land. To them, every stone has a soul, and every wave is a spirit in motion. Between black beaches and tropical forests, Hawaii beats like a heart between two elements: fire and water, heat and stillness. The islands are memory themselves. In every corner, chants echo like ancestral prayers, guiding humankind to honor the balance between sky and soil. The sunset mirrors upon the Pacific like liquid glass, and the air hums with the memory of all the world once was. When night arrives, the heavens open with constellations so sharp they seem to touch the horizon. Fire in the craters glows like an open heart, and the sea murmurs around it, patient, eternal. And so the same story ends and begins where the earth breathes and humankind learns to listen. From east to west, from skyscrapers to desert, from mist-clad valleys to primal fire, the United States reveal more than land. They reveal breath. Between the Atlantic and the Pacific, the nation stretches like a journey of landscapes and souls, a mosaic of echoes where time changes its voice, but not its essence. The Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Smoky Mountains, each holds a fragment of the planet's geological memory. And the cities, New York, Chicago, New Orleans, are mirrors of the human spirit, the desire to build, to endure, to dream. Across every border, something transforms. Prairie winds meet geyser steam. Bridge steel catches the Pacific sunset, and the sound of jazz blends with the hush of pines. It is within this fusion of extremes that the true American soul emerges, born of contrasts, yet bound by a single rhythm. The nation is vast, yes, but its greatness lies not only in the breadth of its land. It lives in the capacity to look toward the horizon and see in it a promise. In deserts and mountains, in waters and in cities, America breathes. And every breath is a reminder that the world remains in motion. When the Atlantic rests and the Pacific awakens, the cycle completes itself. Between one and the other lies silence. And in that silence, the earth listens to its own voice. Thus ends and begins again the story of a continent that learned to turn distance into destiny.